Hello there. Well, that definitely lit the blue touch paper, didn't it? And you thought it was over for the Tories. Well, it is now. The reaction was almost instantaneous. You thought the Tories were toast. Well, this shows they'll be reduced to cinders. And this story came out last night, and so far I've seen no government response to it. People are incandescent with rage after the news came in that the government has been allowing English Channel new arrivals to work. That's right, the pull factor of a nice hotel is not enough. They're also being allowed to work and earn money. But they're only being paid 80% of the going rate for the jobs they do, so are undercutting UK workers. The Telegraph reports that a Freedom of Information request shows that nearly 16,000 asylum seekers, including those who've arrived by rubber boat across the Channel, have been given permission to work in 1 year alone, 2022. And it's reported they've been given jobs in sectors of the economy where there are staff shortages. Staff shortages due to low wages. That's in care, construction and agriculture. And the reference to care is the one that concerns most people. They are questioning whether these people have gone through the rigorous checks required of UK applicants. All those DBS checks, etc. Especially as we know how many turn up here having ditched their paperwork in the sea and won't let on which is their country of origin. So if some of these people have turned up in the care sector, then a very serious situation becomes a potential disaster. Oh, and the reason there's a shortage of staff in the care sector, remember, has a lot to do with those armed intervention mandates that this government foisted on them. Anyway, as the former UKIP leader Nigel Farage said of this handing out of jobs, this is a disaster. Once the traffickers can advertise jobs and free board, even more will want to come. Rwanda is completely irrelevant in comparison to this. The Rwanda plan that will fail because the House of Lords is doing all it can to block it. The Rwanda plan, the great distraction from the truth that the Tories are still feeding big business with cheap labour. Cheap labour that the rest of us will be footing the bill for, because I doubt at 80% of a low wage that many of them, if any, will be paying in more than they take out. They may pay back a small amount of the total bill, but UK taxpayers will have to fund the shortfall. Cheap labour that will make it harder for our workers to get a fair day's pay for a fair day's work. And it also reinforces the argument made by the French that it is the fault of our overly generous work and benefit regime, as well as a flourishing and unchecked underground economy, that so many opt to get in a boat and race for the UK. That's the problem, they say, not a lack of action by the French authorities. And because of the numbers of arrivals concerned, it is feared the numbers of them working will be even higher for 2023. The chairman of Migration Watch, Alp Mehmet, summed it up by saying, "How can we take seriously the government's professed commitment to stopping the boats when such a ploy is underway?" How indeed. Now the government is trying to say that in their view this does not increase the pull factor. What? As soon as they can, I bet these people are on social media telling everyone back home that they now live in a hotel with a job and earning a wage that some back home could only ever dream of. And that's not a pull factor. And once established here, right to a family life will ensure even more will follow, but legally, with the blessings of the courts. The number of visas will continue to skyrocket. Miriam Cates, a co-chair of the New Conservative Group, a group of Tory MPs who want stricter controls on inward migration, said, It's understandable that asylum seekers might want to have a job while waiting for their claims to be processed, but we cannot solve the significant problems associated with irregular migration unless we deter people from crossing to the UK illegally. And this is the opposite of a deterrent. Well, it took an FOI request to find this out. The government was obviously hoping no one would find out. But I'm wondering if our ministers did know. Did the Home Secretary, James Cleverly, sanction this? Or did he find out from the Telegraph report like the rest of us did? Because it transpires these rules have been in place for years, maybe over a decade. So civil servants may well have been rubber stamping applications through for many a year, and we're only just finding out. And the woke civil serpents aren't likely to flag up to ministers a massive increase in payments to their preferred demographic, are they? Now, thinking back to the 2019 general election, it was a battle between Boris and getting Brexit done and Jeremy Corbyn with his hard-left socialist agenda. It seems that Boris got the votes, but that Corbyn won via the back door of the socialist march through the institutions. And one of Corbyn's ideas laid out in the 2019 Labour manifesto, which was backed by the current Labour Party leader Keir Starmer, by the way, one of Corbyn's ideas was to give all residents of the UK aged 16 and over the ability to vote in all elections, including general elections, the widest voting mandate in the world. Not UK citizens or any of that nationalist malarkey for the socialists. No, all residents, i.e. all the people that live here, wherever they came from and wherever their loyalties lie. And I have the feeling that we will see something very similar in their next manifesto. Now, Labour will be extremely pleased with this news, as they think it will further boost their chances of an even larger majority, something that would give them the electoral mandate to turn the country into USSR Mark II, or more likely Venezuela Mark II. Labour is very likely to look at this asylum seeker working thing as a wonderful idea and build upon it. Now, I've been trawling through the many thousands of comments under that Telegraph article, and the anger at the government leaping out of the screen is palpable, with hundreds of commenters denouncing the government on this, to every one person saying it's a great idea. I've got to say that this makes any tax cuts and tweaks Jeremy Hunt was planning to make so as to sweeten the path to the next general election now meaningless. R.I.P. the Conservative Party.